Hello, all, and thanks for joining me on this Memorial Day. Last Memorial Day, I did a segment called Theo's Flag. This flag right here, and which my dad gave to me, and it's my uncle, my only uncle to die in World War II, and my only uncle to be drafted in World War II, and he died in New Guinea on August 4th, 1944. And so I did a segment called Theo's Flag, and now I'm doing a segment called Theo's Hat. My family was able to locate his hat, which I have right there, and keeping it with the flag. And I just got news from my cousin uh, who found his Purple Heart. He was awarded a Purple Heart uh, posthumously, and that's on its way. So, future segment might be Theo's Purple Heart. But what I thought I'd do this Memorial Day, because I kind of covered a little bit about Theo and uh, uh, his combat action in the last segment, or the best I could research it. And so this Memorial Day, I thought I would, pay a tribute to my Uncle Theo by working on a scenario or developing a scenario based on the little I do know of his combat action in New Guinea. And so with that, I thought I'd turn to Combat Commander Pacific. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that was I've got New Guinea Battle Pack number 4, which was for Combat Commander Pacific, and it covered New Guinea. Now, it has 14 scenarios and 6 new battle maps, and they have the new scenarios here. Really, none of the scenarios really captured my Uncle Theo's action in that regard. The best I can tell by the research, and I kind of covered it in the last video, was that he was there was some combat or there were some actions dealing with patrols as new recruits came in. My Uncle Theo was a green recruit. I mean, he was went through basic and then was on a boat and then was over to New Guinea. That's my understanding from what I was able to piece together through some of the family's memory. And was not involved in any major actions, had just gotten to New Guinea, and based on the research that I could find, that there was some patrol actions of some Japanese forces that were still held up after a couple of major actions, and that the best I could tell during that time period that he might have been killed during some patrol actions as they were trying to clear out that area. So one of the things I thought I would probably do for the scenario is probably I thought I'd use one of the maps from the New Guinea battle pack that had a little bit of coast on it, because my understanding is that they had just arrived and were kind of reinforcements in the area, reinforcing the troops that had already been there, and there was some major actions not too long before his death. So, but it was before I think his troop had arrived, or his unit had arrived. So I thought this might be a good map to use as a base, because we have a little bit of the coast. So you'd be patrolling this area, and then maybe there's some Japanese forces held up here. As far as the unit, I mean, he was green, so I'll probably use that designation for his troop or for his unit. Probably be a mix of rifle plus probably some green for representing his company coming into reinforcement during that time. If you're not familiar with Combat Commander and its gameplay, it's a game that is somewhat similar to your typical squad level or small unit tactical World War II games, much like Squad Leader and Advanced Squad Leader, and a lot of games of that same ilk. Um, you're dealing with squads and teams, like a 4-person on a silhouette would be a squad, and 2 would be a team, and 1 would be an individual or normally a leader. But you also have weapon groups and the like that are represented on the counters. The counters also have your typical designations for small unit tactical type games, in that you're going to have your firepower, your range, your movement, as you can see there, and morale. And if you're a leader, you're going to have a command level 2. So again, like a lot of squad level games, morale is very important. You can get broken, and it affects your combat ability. The difference between combat commander and your other, or the squad leader and advanced squad leader, and other games that kind of evolve from that, is that combat commander is all controlled by these cards, and that's both the benefit and the bane of this. It's what people really love about combat commander, or it's what people really hate about combat commander. Because you need to have these cards in order to do anything. There's an order on the card. There is an action. You can you play the order to do the orders, like move or fire or revive or what have you. But you have to have that order in order to do to play that order. Actions are, you can play these cards for their actions. The cards have multiple use, and the action, you have to meet the requirements of the action. So, this one right here, marksman, add +2 when firing with a friendly squad or team. So if you have a friendly squad or team and you're firing, then you can play this for the action ability. And so if you meet the requirements, you can play the action. Events are just that. They're events. Those are like when you're drawing from the deck, you'll get, when something makes you draw from the deck to read an event or to look at something, that's when you do an event. You don't play events from your hand. But that goes back to the multi-use of the cards. Also, there's no dice in this game. Well, not the kind of dice that you're used to. The dice rolls are all done on the card. And so when you need to do a dice roll, you draw from the deck and you check the dice on the card. So again, the cards have multiple use. Also, the cards kind of serve as a timer as you're going through a scenario, as you're going through the deck, pulling cards and trying to get the right card, or pulling cards for the dice or the events or what have you. It's going to go through that deck, and that's going to affect gameplay as well, how many times you go through the deck, and that might be one of the requirements of the scenario. So some people really like this because this really it's really a focus on fog of war and the chaos of war and the chaos of command, that you might have a unit just sitting there and be in a great position to do an attack, but they have no fire card. So what's going on with that unit? Well, they're not getting the right orders, or they don't know what's going on, or they don't see the other side, or they're hunkering down, or what have you. So, I mean, it recreates the chaos and fog of war, and the breakdowns of command in the face of battle. And so it's a far cry from the perfect information that you might have at squad leader, where you see I see that squad there, I see the enemy there. It's just a matter of range and movement and cover, and there you have it. So you've got kind of perfect information. This is you still have that kind of top-down view, but you don't know what you're going to be able to do. So again, some people like that because they feel it gives them the feel of the chaos of the battle. Other people don't like it at all because they feel like it becomes a matter of hand management. It becomes more of a card game. I've got to keep drawing till I get a move. I need a move, and I have no move cards. So I'm going to keep drawing and ditch my hand and not really do what I need to do, and kind of waste a turn till I get move cards, or vice versa. I mean, if I need fire cards, I've got to kind of kill a hand and not do anything and waste a turn or waste time until I get the right cards, and becomes more of a, you feel like it's luck based and drawing cards, or it's hand management, um, and it's more of a card game than it is a war game or a tactical simulation. So those are the extremes of the thoughts on this. Some people, like me, I don't love it, I don't hate it. I like it. I'm probably more on the side of I like it. It gives me a different feel and a different perspective for the battle or combat at a small unit tactical level. So I don't hate it. I mean, the card, it can be frustrating, but then I chalk that up to that's the effect that I want to get from playing this game. I want to feel frustrated by my cards and have that feel of what frustration in combat is. Like if you're sitting back as a leader and seeing that your troops aren't taking the hill at the time and in the manner and how you wanted them to do that. So I'm over the hump of and more towards the liking. And there are times where I really, really liked it. I don't know if I ever got to love, but I really did like playing it. And I just haven't played this in a while because I try a lot of different games and try a lot of different perspectives on small unit tactical games. Um, but I never been in the camp of hating it, because I go into this with my eyes wide open of, well, that's the experience. You're going to have cards. There's going to be some card management in this game, and that's the effect that it's trying to portray on the chaos and combat and fog of command. So anyway, that's how I find out. That's how I end up on it, or where I land on this. As I said, some people just detest this game and don't like it and feel it's too gamey. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I mean, they're fine. They're entitled to their own opinion, and that's a completely legitimate feel. And there's other people that just swear by this game. This is their game. This is their small unit tactical game. This is where they like to live when they play a game like that. And they're not wrong either. I mean, again, that's the beauty of gaming, and the beauty of our hobby right now is we have a lot of options. We just don't have squad leader. Or advanced squad leader, and people that play advanced squad leader, that love advanced squad leader, that becomes a way of life. That's a lifestyle game, and people just can't get enough of advanced squad leader and live and breathe it, and that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. To me, it doesn't mean that advanced squad leader is a better game, or this is a worse game, or this is a better game, or what have you. It's a matter of taste. It's a matter of what people are looking for. It's the matter of what kind of experience they want to have when they're playing one of these games. And that, as I said, that's the beauty of where we're at in our hobby now. We have more options than ever before. We have more perspectives than ever before. We have more varied and different mechanics to bring to the table than ever before. And plus, you still have all the old stuff, right? You still have all the stuff that we grew up with, and you can break those out. And a lot of those are just as good as the stuff that's coming out today. So anyway, that was sorry for getting off on that rant, but so that's what this is how I'm gonna do Memorial Day. I'm gonna work on building up a scenario. The scenarios that we're in. I've printed off some scenarios because Combat Commander is kind of like Squad Leader. You can always find scenarios online. But even the new scenarios that came with the New Guinea battle pack, I don't know. Just the ones that were close, like patrol type scenarios. I think we're dealing with Australian forces or something like that, and so I guess I could switch out and make those American forces and put green, some green units in there, and I might do that. But anyway, so that's generally where I'm heading right now. Is probably developing a scenario, think about using this map, getting some green units in there, try to find something that is on patrol and use some of the victory conditions and some of the elements of that scenario, and just play around with it a little bit and see how to try to get a feel for what my Uncle Theo's unit encountered, in early August, as they were just, getting out of training, just getting overseas, just getting to New Guinea to reinforce some troops that had been in some heavy combat. And there was some combat, some named actions. I say named. You could find it in references before they got there, and then there was some after they got there, but after his demise. So I don't think he was. I couldn't tie him down to any of those actions. I found him. The best I could tie him down is, and again, that's in the previous video, was there were some patrol actions and there was some actions, some cleanup actions in the area that that he might have been a casualty of that. That's the best I could tell. So anyway, feel free to take a look at that video. Put some comments on it. Love to know what you think about that. Love to know your comments on this. What do you think about, how are you spending your Memorial Day? How are you remembering those who have served and fallen and have given the last full measure? Love to know your thoughts on that. Love to know your thoughts on Combat Commander. And what do you think about this game? And if you played the Pacific or the New Guinea Battle Pack, any thoughts on that? Or any thoughts on small unit tactical in general? I mean, if you've got some pros and cons versus this, versus ASL, versus Lock and Load Tactical, Band of Brothers, Conflict of Heroes, The Last 100 Yards. I mean, there's a lot of small unit tactical games out there. So, as again, is a great time to be a war gamer because you've got a lot of choices. It's a veritable buffet of options. So anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. If I'm ever able to get a good scenario on pen and paper, I might even try to post it somewhere. If you got thoughts on my scenario, feel free. Let me know if you've seen some stuff out there that you think might cover what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. It might shortcut some of my efforts. So anyway, again, thank you so much. Let's remember today. Let's be respectful and take care. Thanks for watching.